This is cold emails. This isn't like people that know me. This isn't my audience. This isn't people that follow my podcast for years. This is cold emails. People have never heard of me before. And within a week, I'm signing them on a 12-month contract. So let's talk about pricing and structuring your SEO deals. I've made 3 major changes to the way I'm pricing and structuring my SEO deals that I think you guys may want to know about. Okay, number 1 is contracts. I added contracts. In the past, I would do month-to-month agreements, meaning they can cancel at any time. This is our price every month. Anytime you want, just go ahead and cancel. It is entirely your decision. And that is okay, but it kind of sucks when they have like a bad day or a bad week and they decide, you know what, it's been 4 months in my campaign. I'm not really seeing my ROI yet. Let's just cancel it. And it's like, come on guys, we talked about this. We talked about this on day 1 that it's going to take 6 months, 8 months at least to get results. Why are you canceling on month 4 just because they had a bad day or a bad week or something? It's very, very annoying. So you can eliminate that, not entirely, but mostly by adding contracts. Because yeah, they may still cancel, but they're less inclined to do it when they sign a contract to say that they're not allowed to. And will you follow up with a legal action if they do? This is up to you, but they're less likely to do it when they sign that contract. So adding contracts adds a little bit more security because you know that you're going to make money for the next 12 months. It makes the clients less likely to cancel because, again, they signed a 12-month contract for it. Even if they can cancel, even if you won't do anything about it, it still makes it less likely to happen. So that is massively beneficial, really. I highly recommend you do this. The only reason you wouldn't want to do this is because it's more difficult to sell. And here's some truth for you guys, it's not, okay? If you're good at sales, if you know how to build trust, then you're good. As long as you establish trust, then you're good. And again, I'll show you guys my stats so far. 200 cold emails, 2 sales calls, 2 proposals, and 2 clients signed on 12-month contracts. This is cold emails. This isn't like people that know me. This isn't my audience. This isn't people that follow my podcast for years. This is cold emails. People have never heard of me before. And within a week, I'm signing them on a 12-month contract, which means you can do the exact same thing. You don't need to start monthly or anything like that. You don't need to start small. You can literally just go in there straight away. Here's a 12-month agreement for our services, as long as you can build trust, as long as you can convince them that you can get them results. This works. So why would you do it any other way? So that is point number 1, is I added contracts. I highly recommend here that everyone do the same thing because there's really no reason not to. The second thing I did is I started adding links as an extra service, meaning they're paying me for my time and my planning and my research and my auditing and my implementation of everything but links. And I also mentioned before we don't do content, so that would also be extra too, but we don't do it. Okay, so links are extra. It's very similar to if you buy a Facebook ad service. You pay for your Facebook ad management and you pay for your Facebook ad budget. Well, we have an SEO campaign and then we have a link building budget. So they're paying for the links separately. And this is really, really easy to structure things because links are kind of a different thing, especially if you're going out there and you're buying those links. So you go to my service, linza.com, and you buy my guest post, well then the links are going to be a fixed cost of say $170. So it's very hard to kind of fit that into the retainer, or most people would just kind of pick, okay, let's just use like $500 of this, let's use $1,000 of this. It's a very difficult way of structuring the deal. So I do it separately. They pay extra, maybe $1,000, maybe $2,000, maybe $3,000 extra a month just for links. And we charge them the links at a fixed cost, exactly the same as what we're doing on linza.com. So we're charging them, okay, maybe it's gonna be $170 for your guest post and $250 for a DR40 or whatever. Like, we base it on the metrics and we charge them accordingly. That is how we do it. So it's similar to a Facebook ad budget or an ad budget of any kind. So there's extra on top of the campaign. It's a lot easier to sell it that way. It's a lot easier to sign up clients that way. I like it a lot more, so much better. Now, the third change you may not want to do, and it depends on your goals. See, I'm trying to build a scalable agency here, not something that is going to be 8 to 15 clients max and make multiple 6 figures profit, which most people probably want, and it's what I teach most people to do, which is have as few clients as possible paying you as much money as possible. You want to make multiple six figures and have a business that allows you to live in Vietnam, travel, and have an awesome lifestyle. But I've done that, I've been doing that, and it's not really what I'm looking to do here. I actually enjoy building and managing a team to a certain size, so I'm focused on building something a little bit more scalable here. In doing that, it means I had to kind of change up my pricing model, because normally you would do value-based pricing if you're doing a consultant approach, where you kind of figure out, okay, here's how much value I'm adding to your business. Then if I'm making you 50 grand, there's no real reason, that's 50 grand a month, there's no real reason I can't charge you 5 grand a month for that. And there's definitely no reason I can't charge you $2,500 a month for that. It doesn't matter if it costs me $300 a month to run this campaign, which is kind of scammy if you're doing that, it's kind of dodgy. But it doesn't matter if that's enough to get them results, you know? If you charge them 5 grand and all you do is you change the title tag to include the keyword, and that boosts them up to number 1, and they make 50 grand a month out of this, that's fair. It's not just fair, that's great. That's a great investment for the client. Sure, it took you 5 minutes of work, but it's 5 minutes of work plus years of understanding and research. Okay, maybe not for a title tag change, but it's your experience, your knowledge to know what to do that goes into that also. And that's reasonable because they're making an ROI from that. The problem with this is the pricing is pretty much made up, for lack of a better phrase, you know? It's value-based pricing, so you talk to the client, you get an idea, okay, maybe they can make this much out of this, talking about the profit margins and everything, how much money they're making, you're talking about the search volumes, you do research for that, and you get an idea, okay, maybe this client can make an extra 50, 100 grand a month from this or whatever, right? So then according to that, hey, let's charge them 10, 20% of that for our service, right? And that's pretty much value-based pricing, but you're kind of making it up, right? Well, that's not the most scalable thing. And it's very, very difficult to scale, especially when you're building a team and you have to really make sure you're accounting for the cost properly. When it's just you, when the margins are massive, and when you're just outsourcing to VAs and services and whatnot, then you don't really have to worry so much about that. When you're trying to build up a team, you have to be very, very careful about your costs, about allowing you to scale. So what I've done is I've shifted over to an hourly retainer model. So shout out to Ryan Stewart, because this is where I got this from. And Ryan basically shares an approach where you map out for every given month in the 12-month campaign, how many hours are going into various aspects of this campaign. So it could be technical SEO, this is going to be your main elements, right? Technical SEO, on-page SEO, keyword research, and link building. That is the 4 main pillars of pretty much every SEO campaign, no matter what you're doing, right? Maybe you could have some map stuff if it's local SEO. And basically you divide up, okay, for the 12-month campaign, how much time is it going to take for technical SEO? How much time is it going to take for on-page SEO? How much time is it going to take for keyword research? How much time is it going to take for planning out the links, not building them in our case, and managing those links? How much time is it going to take for your local business stuff, so your Google My Business and everything like that? You plan that out for the whole campaign, and that's going to be, say, I don't know, 40 hours for technical SEO, another 40 hours for on-page SEO, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? You plan that out, and then you have an hourly rate that you charge to clients. So my hourly rate is £100 an hour. Now that is not my personal hourly rate. You can't pay £100 an hour to get access to me. But my team and the guys that we're hiring, contractors, freelancers, and everything like that to work with us, that is the rate we're charging for their time, which is a lot less to hire them. As in, we can pay a lot less when we're hiring them. We can pay them like $10 an hour, because the way this works is we have a very talented SEO, and then they plan out everything, the whole campaign, and they do all the auditing, and they give the VAs, the freelancers, pretty much done for you task, where it's like, hey, copy this little snippet of code here into Shopify, and that's going to no index these pages. We give them a list of pages, we give them a list of code, they literally just copy, paste this, and all the pages are no indexed. So it's pretty much just for free. They're just copying and pasting and just following very specific step-by-step instructions. But that doesn't really matter. The point is, you need to do this based on the hourly rate, which again, we're charging £100 an hour, it's about $130 an hour, and the number of hours that are going into every area of your campaign. You add that up over a month-to-month basis, so month 1 is going to be, say, 40 hours, month 2 is going to be another 40 hours, month 3 is going to be, say, 35 hours, whatever. You plan it out for the whole 12 months, and then over 12 months, let's say that's $36,000, well, that breaks down to $3,000 a month, and that is how we charge our clients for the retainers. Now, the benefit of this is numerous. Number one is scope creep. Scope creep is where the client asks you for additional things that are beyond the scope of the campaign. This isn't such a big deal when you can say, okay, if you want us to optimize this new page that you created or something like that, then here's what we can do. We can take 5 hours away from this thing that was pre-planned originally, or we can just bill you for those extra 5 hours. And I'm making 5 hours up as a number, but you get the point. So it's very easy to handle scope creep because you're selling hours, and it's very easy for a client to understand. It's very easy to understand it from a negotiation standpoint as well. When you say, we charge £100 an hour, that is non-negotiable. That is our rate. If you want cheaper, go hire the cheap local guy, but you know already you're not gonna get the same results. You may not say that, but it's certainly implied. So £100 an hour, non-negotiable, that is our rate. The other thing is, we're gonna do a technical audit, we're gonna do keyword research, we're gonna do an on-page audit, we're gonna do all this work to get these results. That is not negotiable too. The work is the work. We can't just let's just skip the technical audit. Like, no, how are we gonna do the work then? So if you want this work done to get these results, then we need to do that. So again, that's non-negotiable. Now, the only thing you can really do is maybe reduce things, remove things that aren't necessary, and slow down that campaign. So maybe that first 12-month campaign, or maybe 6-month campaign, whatever, just have a contract in place for at least 6 months. What we can do is say, okay, well, let's remove all the top of funnel stuff, let's remove all the content marketing stuff, and let's just focus on bottom of funnel, which again, for e-commerce is your category pages, your product pages, and possibly your homepage. Let's just focus on that, and let's skip all the content marketing stuff and just focus on this for the first 12 months of the campaign. It's going to be slower that way, but it allows you to negotiate a little bit and lower that rate, but based on doing less work. And what's going to happen is, in most cases, a client is going to say, you know what, I don't really want to remove this. Let's just do it all. Let's invest in it. I can make this work. So it's very, very effective from a scope creep perspective and a negotiation perspective, and from just a knowing what the heck you're getting yourself into perspective as well, from your own personal standpoint. And the way you do this is very, very simple. You look up the size of the site initially, you look up what exactly is going to go into that campaign initially, you do some actual research, and then you plan out and price the campaign accordingly. And the same research can then go into your proposal, and you can kind of show off a little bit about your technical knowledge, what you've audited, what you've reviewed, what you've found out. And that makes selling way easier, and it makes signing them up on a 12-month contract as well significantly easier. So that is 3 major changes I made to how I'm pricing and structuring these SEO deals. Now, that doesn't mean you need to do the same thing. Again, value-based pricing is awesome if you're not looking to scale. If you're just looking for 8 to 15 clients, have those amazing profit margins. Have literally a $300,000 a year business with value-based pricing, with no team, no hassle, no inconveniences. That is really, really cool. But if you're a bit weird like me and you find that kind of boring because you've done it for a while or whatever, you actually want to do a little bit more work for whatever reason, you kind of want to build up a little bit more team, you kind of want a little bit more hassle, then you want something a little bit more scalable, and that's where I adopted this kind of hourly pricing model, where it's on a retainer based on the hours that go into the work. So it just handles a lot of the scale issues that come with more and more and more clients. But if you just want easy, then I like value-based pricing, because I can pretty much just make up that number, get 8 clients, and just make 300 grand a year profit, which is just awesome. But that is how we're pricing and structuring these deals. If that is helpful to you, go ahead and click the like button below. Let me know so I can create more content just like this. And if you want more updates on the agency, make sure you're subscribed and you have notifications turned on, so I can show you the new updates with the agency and share exactly what we're doing to land clients and build this thing up and make it more scalable. As we get more into this, I'm also going to share more on the fulfillment side and how exactly we're doing that also. Anyway, that is it for this video. I hope that is helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.